Hey guys, thanks for purchasing the Wrath playing cards. So, if you open up the cards, you'll find out that there is an advertising card. And when you saw the advertising card, there was obviously a barcode or a website, which you either typed in on your computer or you scanned with your phone, and you came to the secret page, and now you're viewing this video. So, if you could, just grab your cards, and let's go over the gimmicks first of all, the gaff cards. We'll go over the gaff cards first, and then afterwards we'll go over the one-way design, and I'll tell you how to look for the secret designs to tell which way the card is facing. But in your deck of cards, you should find two jokers, and on the very top you're going to see a 3 of hearts that has missing a heart. And then you'll also see a normal 3 of hearts. This is the gaff portion of just the cards that I'm going to teach you, okay? So essentially, when you are doing the trick, which I do every time, I perform this every time I have my Wrath deck. Every time I perform it, it gets wonderful reactions, and there's many different ways of performing it. If you can do a double lift, you can do this trick. I'm just going to teach you the very most simplest way to perform this effect. So here's how I would perform it. If my sleight of hand wasn't the best, this is how I would perform it. You have the 2 jokers on top of the deck, 3 of hearts, and the gaff 3 of hearts on the second most bottom of the deck. See that? So 3 of hearts is on the bottom, and that gaff 3 of hearts is right beneath it. Or actually, right above it. You're going to perform a double lift. Okay, you're going to perform a double lift. If you don't know what that is, there's many DVDs that teach a double lift out there. You can even learn it from YouTube. They may not teach it correctly, but that's a free way of learning how to do a double lift. I'm going to teach you very briefly of how to do it. You just riffle 2 cards, and you lift up 2 cards as 1. And that's a double lift. What's beneath that card is the joker with the heart. You can see it has the claw, and it's gripping the heart, which is pretty cool. So, you take that joker, and the audience thinks that you're placing the joker, a normal joker, onto the table, which you are. Alright? And you notice my fingers right now, they're covering actually the heart. And you can do this if you want to. You don't necessarily need to, but I do this sometimes just as an extra convincer, just to show them that is indeed a joker. Okay? Just make sure they don't see the heart. And then you're going to flip over the deck and show them the 3 of hearts. You can even tell them to rub on the heart. I sometimes tell them to do that, make sure the ink is there, and then I proceed to perform the Erdnase color change. Okay, what is the Erdnase color change? Well, it's just a very basic color change that most beginner magicians know. You can even find it on YouTube. Just type that in, Erdnase color change, revealed or something. But I'm just going to briefly go over it. It's just here, you're pushing out the 3 slightly forward, and you're using the palm of your hands to pull back that 3, okay? But you're not going to palm it like I just did. You're just going to go like this, push out, pull back, and then boom. Okay, so this is what it looks like when I'm performing. I say, watch the 3 of hearts, as I can pull out that heart. Now it looks really, really convincing. I don't know if it looks convincing on camera, but it definitely looks really convincing in real life. And this gets wonderful reactions, okay, because they really think you're pulling out that 3. You then say, look, the heart is right now, the ink is in my finger, so if I let go of the ink, it's going to crawl all the way back to the joker. And as you flip this over, as they're all reacting to this joker right here, you're just going to thumb off the 3, but you're going to wrist kill your left hand. If you're right-handed, you're going to wrist kill your left hand like this. So you get a really, really nice display of the joker and a 3 of hearts, and you see the claw snatching that heart from the center. And it's a really, really nice image that you can create for your audience. And then you can go ahead and cut the deck. That way there's no joker on bottom, there's no 3 on the bottom, there's no joker on top. And that way they can completely examine it if they want to. Okay, so if you do not know the Erdnase color change, you can also perform this using just the double lift. So let me show you exactly what this would look like. Let me first grab the cards. First, you're gonna want a joker, a normal joker, and the gaff joker on top, like this, okay? Just lay that there for now. Take the 3 of hearts and the gaff 3 of hearts and lay those on top of the deck first, then take the other 2 jokers and have those on top of the 3s. Proceed to perform a double lift. You say, here's the joker. Now, as you place this on the table, you say we're gonna need another card. All you're gonna do is you're gonna slip cut the top card into the middle of the deck, because we don't need that joker anymore. The gaff joker's right over here. And you just go ahead and perform another double lift. And if you don't know the Erdnase color change, but I highly recommend that you do it. You can just perform the double lift and then take the top card as a single and show that the heart is gone and it appears on the joker. So that's if you don't know how to do the Erdnase color change, but then again, it really, really looks very, very visual when you perform it right. It really looks like you're taking the heart out, right, and then placing it on the joker. So I recommend doing that version. But again, if you can't do the Erdnase color change, just go ahead and do the double lift. So that was the easy version. Now let's go over maybe the more complicated ones. Grab the 3s and the jokers as well again. One more time. Where's the other? Oh, there. If you perform the snap change very often, which I do, then you'll find this easy. However, if you're uncomfortable with the angles, or you just don't really perform the snap change in general, then you may find this a little challenging, but I'll teach it to you anyways. So essentially, you're going to do a double lift to show the normal 3 of hearts, and then you're going to take the 3 and you're going to place it into their hand. Okay, so you're going to have them put their hand up like this, and you can place the gaff 3, which you don't show them. I mean, you could technically flash a 3 like this, having your 2 fingers cover the middle heart. That way, they still know it's a 3. But I mean, this is lay people, unless they do know the double lift. I mean, they're not going to suspect anything. So, but however, some lay people do know the double lift. So, if you have a heckler out there, you can just go, whoop, see, it's still a 3 of hearts, and then place it in their hands. Same thing again, slip cut, because you're going to take the normal 3 and place it in the middle of the deck, because we don't need that anymore. And then, you're going to do another double lift to show the joker, the normal joker. Remember, the gaff joker's right beneath it. Okay? Now, you're then going to instruct your spectator to imagine taking one of the hearts out and throwing it to the joker. Okay, now it may seem weird to them, but just instruct them to do so. And when they do that, as they throw the heart, the quote-unquote heart, you just perform the snap change. Right? So there's a visual throwing of the heart. And then it seems as though the heart on the 3 has transferred to the joker, because they're obviously going to lift up their hand and they're going to see that a heart is missing. So that's a really, really powerful image. If you don't know the snap change, again, you can learn it on YouTube. I will briefly teach it. There's many different ways to perform the snap change. I perform it vertically, which is holding the card lengthwise instead of widthwise, like most people do it. Most people perform it like this. However, I feel like when you hold a card in the air, you usually hold it like this, vertically. Okay, and it's just a preference. That's all. There's no correct or wrong way to do it. It's just how I feel I should perform it. So, again, I'll go over the snap change very briefly. The middle finger is just going to pull back on the card that's on top, revealing the card that is behind the very first card. Okay? So that's essentially the snap change. So, yeah. You remember, I'll go over that one more time. You take the normal 3. You show them the normal 3. You can even have them rub the heart and make sure it's normal. Rub the ink, make sure it's on there. Place it on their hands. Do a slip cut. Bring the normal 3 into the center of the deck. And then you're going to perform a double lift. Okay? like this. So just do a normal double lift, or sorry, I usually perform like this, and then you tell them to imagine taking the 3 from the taking a heart from the 3 and throwing it onto the jokers. And as they throw it, they complete the throw, you do the snap change. And then there you go. And they see a heart, and immediately they're going to lift up the card that's in their hands and see that there's a missing heart right there. So that's one variation of doing the trick. However, instead of having them throw the heart, you can actually instruct them, if you're brave enough, you can instruct them to hold the card like this. So they'll do that, they'll hold the cards like this. You can then tell them to turn over the card. So they'll do that. Right now you notice what's happening, their fingers are covering that middle heart. You can then tell them to grip the corner of the card and then take their right hand and pull. Just imagine pulling something. And they don't know what at that point. But once they notice that there's no ink in the middle, they notice what they're doing. They're actually pulling out the heart. And then, at that point, it seems as though the spectator is doing the magic. And it's really, really powerful. And then, since they feel like they have a heart in their hand because they're doing this, right? Tell them to throw it. And as they throw it, you perform the snap change. Okay? And that is essentially another way of performing or utilizing the gaff cards. So yeah, that's it. Let's get into the other portions of the deck. Okay, so here are the revelations that come with the deck of cards. There's one on the add card which just says you will pick the 4 of diamonds, and there is another one right here on the flap. It says King of Spades. Alright, so I don't know if they can catch it on camera, but you can definitely see it in person. If you open up the flap, you can definitely see it says King of Spades right there. So those are just my favorite cards. There's no significance to these cards. They're just my favorite cards. So 4 diamonds and King of Spades. Let me just go over the very basic classic force, or sorry, riffle force, which is the one I use most often. Let's say you're forcing the 4 diamonds. Just take out the 4 diamonds. Right there. I'm going to teach you 2 forces. First is the riffle force, and then the second one's going to be the slip force. You're going to have whatever card you want to force, either the 4 diamonds or the King of Spades. Just leave it right there. Alright, you're going to have a pinky break right above that 4. Okay? And then you're going to riffle down the deck, and you can tell the spectator to say stop anywhere they want. And they can say stop maybe here. And as they say stop, you can say right here, and you're going to use your thumb to actually lift off of the packet where your pinky's at. Okay? So from front it's going to look like this. So stop right here, oh, right here, okay. 4 diamonds, right? Again, if you want a little bit more in-depth tutorial of the riffle force, you can find it on many beginner DVDs of Magic. That was just a very, very basic teaching of it. So, there you go. The 4 of diamonds, and then you can say, look, there's the 4 diamonds. We'll take the 4 diamonds, and we'll reveal it on this card. You can have the box covering the add card, and you can then reveal it, showing, it says it right over there. Same thing with the King of Spades. Grab the King of Spades, and I'll teach you the slip force this time. Slip force was actually one of the very first card tricks I learned. That's the one that really got me into Magic. Just a little bit of history there. So, anyways, they riffle down, they say stop anywhere they want. This time, there's no pinky break. In fact, you do not want your pinky in the center of the deck. You want it on top, because the friction of your pinky, your pinky, 4th, and middle fingers are going to be all contacting that very top card. And the reason for this is because when they say stop anywhere, you're going to actually slip up the entire, you're going to lift up the entire top half of the deck with your right hand, like this. Now I'm just doing this in slow motion, that's why I'm flashing. And then you're going to retain that King of Spades to that half of the deck where they said stop. So in fast motion, so let's say they say stop here, say right here, there it is. So essentially the slip force allows you to have the spectator say stop anywhere without having a pinky break. So they can't even say stop down here, and that still leaves them picking the king of spades. Now of course you can hear a little sound like that, so as you do the slip force, you're gonna look up to them and make eye contact and say right here, like that. That's what you're gonna do in order to kind of misdirect them from the sound of the card slipping. So like that, say right here, and there you go. Of course there's many other forces out there. There's the classic force, or there's the classic face up force, which is the one that I use a lot as well. Those are a little bit more advanced, so as you get better at kind of knowing when the spectator is about to point to a card, you kind of move quicker and faster to that specific card. So, but that all comes with experience. So yeah, that's it. Those are the revelations of the deck. Now let's get into the one-way design. Alright, so here is the one-way design. The secret is all in that little center piece right over there. I don't know if you can catch it on camera, but it's the little symbol that's dead center right over there. Now if you grab the ace of spades, so go and take out the ace of spades from your deck, have the spade pointing forward, you're gonna then immediately flip over the card. And you notice that there's a red bar. Just a straight red bar. Okay. That's pointing in the same direction as the spade is. That is different because then that way you know exactly which way the card is pointing. If I turn it around, you can see the red bar is now pointing this way. If I turn it this way, the red bar is pointing forward. Again, if you have the Wrath playing cards in front of you, you can actually see that very clearly. However, if you never knew about this, it would be almost impossible. So yeah, that is the one-way design. Now, a trick that you can do with this is you can have 5 cards or more in your hands, and they're all facing the same direction. So the red bar is facing, for me, I like to have it facing forward, so let's just add the ace of spades in here. You can have the spectator select any card, pull it out, and as they take a look at it, just tell them to peek at it, as if they were like peeking at cards for a game of poker. So just peek at it slightly. So they peek at the card, and as they're peeking at the card, you just nonchalantly reverse the packet. So now everything's pointing this way, and his card, whatever it is still pointing forward. Have him place it anywhere in the deck. You can then hand him the packet and instruct him to shuffle the cards. Now, when you tell him to shuffle the cards, take the deck and shuffle like this. That way he'll do the same. Okay? The reason why you want him to shuffle like this is because you're keeping all the cards in the same direction. You don't want them to do any other sort of shuffle. I mean, this shuffle is fine too, which most people actually do. That's good. But if they do any other funky shuffles, then they might ruin the orientation of the cards, which we don't want happening. So they can shuffle however they want to, and then you can do a cool little mentalism act where you know that line that we went over just now is pointing forward and everything else is pointing backwards. So you can go like this, you can hover your hand over, he's like, oh, that's not the card. Let's see, maybe this is the card, which this isn't the card at all. And you can go, oh, no, this isn't the card, maybe this is the card. Let's see, maybe this is the card. No, this isn't the card. Now I know that this is the card that they picked because that line is pointing forward. So then you can do this little thing, say, oh, no, it's not this one. And then you can be like, oh, you choose point to one card. And then you can do the Magician's Force at that point, which I'm sure you know already. Remove that card, and there you go. That should be the card that they selected. So that's it. That is how you do the, that's how you utilize the one-way force design. Alright guys, that was it. That was all the tricks and effects that you can use utilizing the Wrath playing cards. I really hope you enjoy this deck of cards. I definitely get a lot of comments a lot of the times. Lay people go, oh wow, that's a really, really cool deck of cards. And the reason why I like it so much is because the pips on here aren't different, except for the Ace of Spades, of course, but they aren't completely different from normal playing cards. They're very similar. So to them, it looks like a normal deck of cards, except for the backs, of course. So yeah, enjoy the deck of cards, have fun with it. It's a good flourishing deck, it's a good deck for Magic, it's good for a lot of things, and make use of the gaff cards because it really leaves a really powerful impression. It really does. Especially the Three of Hearts one. They really like that. It's my favorite effect to perform every time I bring this deck of cards along. So yeah, that's it. My name is Shim Lin, and that's it. Thank you very much.